In other news, the ANC in Limpopo electing Stan Mathabatha as the provincial chairperson over the weekend. 2 regions in Gauteng also holding their conferences as Johannesburg and Tshwane convened to elect new leaders. So today we're focusing in part on the ANC's state and the future of the party under the leadership of President Cyril Ramaphosa. Looking at the recent provincial conference, is there hope that the party can regain its former glory? Let's bring in political analyst Dr. Levy Ndou to help us understand the state of the party ahead of that all-important national elective conference which takes place in December of this year. Dr. Ndou, it's always good to talk to you this morning on all things involving the future of our country, and particularly for the ANC this year. It's such an important year, and we're seeing a lot of things unfold in the provincial and regional conferences in the build-up to December and its elective conference. Where do we begin when we try to understand the state of the party and what we can expect to happen in December? Where do we begin having that conversation?
Good morning, Michelle. Good morning to the viewers at home. We need to begin by looking at the state of the ANC right now. We need to look at the ANC few years just after 1994 and now in 2022. The ANC has always been a dominant party from 1994 up towards somewhere 2016, when the electoral support started to go down. The ANC has got few challenges that it is facing. First is the credibility challenge that the ANC is facing. Number 2, the decline of the ANC, which is informed by the credibility issues. 3 is also to look at the ANC in government, its performance on the mandate given to the ANC by the electorate. And number 4, which is also very important, is the growth of other political parties in South Africa challenging the existence of the dominance of the ANC. But you also have the ANC that has got serious internal challenges. The internal challenges of the ANC are mainly factionalism, its ill discipline, and the inability to unite as a party. And those are the challenges that are actually facing the ANC now. If you look at the conference of the ANC in Mpumalanga, the conference of the ANC in the Eastern Cape, Ekurhuleni, eThekwini, and the regional conferences that we had in Gauteng, you would also agree with me that indeed the ANC has serious challenges that relates to members of the party being able to come together as one and being able to relate with one another in order to be able to persuade each other in order for the ANC to become one strong, united party. Those are the challenges that are facing the ANC as we speak now. And Limpopo, Michelle, Limpopo has been able to set an example that even though there are challenges within the ANC, they can still be able to come together and have a formal or a well-organized conference without the kind of hassles that actually took place in other regions and in other provinces. That says to me that within the ANC, you need to develop systems and processes that are able to be acceptable to all members of the party, so that whenever they go to their conferences or other gatherings, all the issues that are supposed to be addressed have to be addressed before these gatherings takes place, because if they are addressed at gatherings, it does not paint the image of the ANC very, very well.
Yeah, and we're talking about, among other things, the adoption of credentials, which we know is a perennial problem whenever any conference does gather and any election does take place. Let's broaden the discussion, Dr. Ndou, this morning and talk about, where we are as a country whenever we refer to the previous president, former President Jacob Zuma, there's this phrase that comes to mind, which is the 9 wasted years, right? But if we think about the years since then, how would you characterize these past years, more recently?
Well, when people talk about the 9 wasted years, I think they actually refer to wasted years of the government of the ANC in terms of things that were supposed to be done, or the wrong things associated with those 9 years. And I think it is also an unnecessary emphasis on the 9 wasted years, because of course there are other very important things that the government was able to do and achieve in the so-called 9 wasted years that people actually talk about. The challenge is that with the 9 wasted years, the biggest issue that occupies the mind of many South Africans would be the issues related to state capture and the rampant corruption that was associated with the past 9 years that people talk about. Hence, we ended up having the Zondo Commission. But if we look at the period from 2019 up to now, you would therefore say that the ANC government has only been putting emphasis on the fight against corruption, building the institutions of government so that they are able to deliver, and only focusing on the acceleration of service delivery, which is also not there. I know that some within the administration will say we couldn't achieve much of our programs because of the COVID-19 pandemic. But the focus of the current administration has been only to fight corruption, build the capacity of the state, and ensuring that the institutions that support our democracy and the institutions of state are actually properly capacitated to be able to deliver. As for the results, we couldn't be able to get the results now because it appears as if the project for building is still on. What we don't know is as to when is this project going to end.
And the people who pay the price, Dr. Ndou, are ordinary South Africans who, election after election, put their faith, the majority of us who vote anyway, in the governing party. But to what end?
Well, I think it is important to note, Michelle, that the challenges facing society today are the very same challenges that were facing society in '94, and are the very same challenges that were facing society in 1980 and beyond. The challenges that have been facing South Africa are challenges related to unemployment, are challenges relating to the improvement of health services, are the challenges that relates to infrastructure development, are the challenges that relates to social challenges that people come across on a daily basis. What you would need from government is the ability of government to say, this is the extent in which we have actually moved in addressing some of the challenges. And the biggest challenge that most people raise now is that when we move around in our own areas, our streets are in a very, very bad shape. We still do not have water and many, many other challenges. And my view is that you need government that must be able to refocus its energies and strategies on ensuring that the basic services that ordinary citizens require are actually being delivered. And it appears as if in some instances they are actually there, but in the main, many areas appear not to be able to receive the services that government is supposed to be receiving. Few days ago, we have heard the people of Mangaung complaining that their streets are filthy, they are dirty, and they've got potholes everywhere. We have had instances where people in Limpopo are complaining about not having water on a regular basis. We have had instances where the people of Khanyisa in the northern part of Cape were also complaining that they have got bad roads and that the infrastructure for development seem to be moving very slowly. If you go to Mafike, if you go to areas of Mokwase, the very same challenges that people are actually complaining about. And in my view, you need government that must develop better ways and better strategies to be able to deal with these challenges that people are complaining about on a regular basis.
Yeah. And of course, what people want to say, what people want to see, Dr. Ndou, is that those responsible for those state capture years that you talk about, that they do face the music, and that there is a sanction for the kind of corruption that took place in our country. Dr. Ndou, let me thank you for your time this morning. Political analyst Dr. Levy Ndou joining us there via our video link.